Niggas recorded everybody from Frank Ocean to Camila Cabello. He's Sexyy Red engineer.
Part of the vibe.
Everybody, he works with everybody, bro.
Fire.
¿Qué es lo que mi gente? This is your boy Rick Diesel. Regresamos nuevamente to another podcast. El Feeling Podcast, El Feeling Show. And we're right here with the main man, the one man. Un productor, un ingeniero, también tiene el oído de un artista. Este tipo tiene nominación a los Grammy, tiene platino, tiene oro. This man doing it, man. I mean, you got to check him out for yourself. Don't just believe me. Ladies and gentlemen, if you got an issue, you got a problem with your mix, you got to call Sal.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
what up, brother?
¿Cómo tú estás?
Appreciate that intro.
It's a pleasure, brother.
Yes, sir. Better Call Sal, engineer out of Miami, Florida. Yeah, man.
Look, Sal, it's a pleasure to meet you, brother. I mean, when I got first introduced to who you are, man, your resume speaks for itself, you know. And I, like I said, I'll let them deliberate that, you know. But between me and you, I'd like to ask you, brother, like, how did you get started in engineering? If you don't mind me asking.
When I got started engineering, it was because I used to rap back in the day.
Oh, shit.
I was big into hip-hop. That's what got me into music. In fact, I only listened to hip-hop, like, straight up. And I couldn't find an engineer that I fucked with.
Really?
So I started going online, teaching myself how to record.
Really?
And I ended up liking the process of, you know, recording, mixing your own vocals, making something sound better.
Yeah.
And that led me to looking at like engineering as a possible career.
Wow. I can tell the extent of your expertise when we got into the studio. And by the way, this is Sanctuary Studios. And that's Brando in the background, cooking up a beat live. Shout out to Brando.
Shout out to Brando.
Thank you for giving us access to an amazing studio here located in Miami. Just to let you know, he came in the studio and they asked him, hey, do you hear that? Is that mono or stereo? Just sitting in the back of the room, he said, no, that's stereo. Change it to mono. And I'm just like, damn, this dude's ear is that trained to do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. As far as, so okay, you got into engineering to mix down your own records. You didn't like how other people were doing it. How did that go from you mixing your own records to you meeting other people and them allowing you to mix their records? Is that something that you asked for, or somebody just heard what you did to your tracks and was like, yo, can you do that to mine?
Nah, basically, I got an internship at a studio called Circle House. It's like a legendary studio in Miami.
Whoa.
And basically, started from the ground up. I was scrubbing toilets. I was going on runs. Whatever I could be to be in the studio, be near the engineers, be near the artists. And little by little, I worked my way up to like assistant, where they actually let you in the rooms, you know, patch in a thing, check the microphones, make sure the cables are all presentable, stuff like that. You know, basically you learn everything about the studio, and then you also watch the engineers work too. And luckily for me at Circle House, there was like 5 different engineers that were all nasty.
Yeah.
And they all had like their own like techniques. Shout outs to Charles, shout outs to John, shout outs to Erwin, shout outs to Matt, and shout outs to, damn, I don't want to leave nobody out, Eric. Them boys were, I'm talking about Grammys, plaques, everything. And they all had different techniques. Like somebody would do one thing faster, somebody do something else faster. And I just peeped game on everybody and kind of combined all their skills. Oh, shout outs to Gennaro too. That's a huge mentor of mine.
Okay.
And Lou Diaz.
Wow.
Lou Diaz is a legend, another legendary engineer in Miami.
Yeah.
Pitbull, discovered Pitbull.
Wow.
He was also a big mentor of mine.
Wow. So you're in the studio, you are the intern, you are learning from the different engineers, and you're picking up game, the little bits and pieces that, you know, that you're grasping to add to your arsenal, right? How did that go from you getting a shot to actually engineer? Like, was it like somebody was missing one day and they're like, hey, the kid's pretty good. He can do it, or something like that.
That's always how it happens. It was like I think it was like a Saturday. I came in I was still an intern. I wasn't even an assistant really yet, and like there was a last minute session that booked cash client. I'm the only person at the studio, so I gotta be the engineer.
Oh shit!
For sure.
So that's how it went down. I love your CBD vape too, by the way, man. That shit's fire too, man.
Shout out to Puffco.
Hey,
only the
respect.
best. Shout out to Head Stash Hash too.
Oh yeah, yes,
I fuck
sir.
with them boys.
Yes, sir. Man, so okay, so who was the artist? Was it somebody big, or it was just an artist that was there in the studio that needed some assistance?
You know, they weren't necessarily a big artist, but they were definitely an experienced artist that came to the studio a lot. So it was a good test to be working with somebody like that because, you know, they would ask for certain specific things that, you know, an experienced client wouldn't. So there was less room for error, but it also made me feel, you know, like I had to get to it. And luckily for me, you know, I knew enough to do well in that session. And, you know, I still, you know, to this day, sometimes work with that artist.
Wow. Yeah. It's amazing how those moments, man, that really give you that shot, stay with you for a long time throughout your career, man. And I also peep the respect level that you have for the people that were giving you the game. You know, a lot of people will, you know, get to where they want to get to and then just be like, But you mentioned every single name that was there at that studio. That's extremely respectful, and I just want other people to peep that because some people don't respect the game. You know what I'm saying? They just come in, take what they can, and just say fuck it. You know,
bro. And you know what? I'm not even mad at those people, honestly, bro.
Respect.
This industry, you know, it breaks a lot of people, man.
Oh yes, it does.
Like from all the people that I started with, it's probably like 20% still working in this industry.
Yeah.
Everybody's said they went to something else. It's not a easy industry to be a part of.
100%.
So when I see somebody take advantage, I can't even be mad at it, you know? You know, everybody comes up their own way.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Yeah. I'm a hip hop guy myself, man. I told you who my mentor was, Chucky Thompson. You know, may he rest in peace.
R.I.P.
He passed away during COVID. But, you know, how can I say, like, I've also been through moments where I've kind of wanted to quit. I wanted to stop. I have stopped. I have quit, you know, but thankful I have friends that recognize my talent and they would spank me. You know what I'm saying? How we say back in DC, they would spank me. They'll be like, hey, what the fuck is you doing? Like, get in the studio, make some music. One of my friends in particular, he was like, dude, you Dominican. Dominicans make a lot of dope ass beats for reggaeton artists, like, and Latin music. You need to do it. And I'm like, dude, whatever, dude. I'm hip hop. I'm straight hip hop. And the first reggaeton I did, it got placed with somebody. So I was like, oh shit, okay, cool, man. Thank you for putting that battery on my back. You know what I mean? Because I was really, what's the word? Torn about it, I guess. You know what I'm saying? You know, but I like the fact that you realize that, man, and I perceive and I enjoy your perspective also about, you know, you can't blame the motherfuckers when they feel like that. You know what I'm saying? I dig it. I really dig it, brother. So how did it go from you being this normal engineer to actually getting a shot and working with some of the biggest artists in the industry? If y'all don't know, like I said at the beginning, this man has plaques under his belt, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't easy. How did it get to the point where you reached your first, you know, great top artist where people were like, yo, look what he did? You know, like, what did that do for you? You know, how did it happen? What did that do for you?
Damn, bro, because at Circle House, it's the type of studio that, like, your first session, you go in there and it might be with like Young Jeezy. You know, that was actually like my third person I recorded.
Yo.
So like it's kind of one of those places that so many big artists come through that it becomes like a normal thing, you know?
Yo.
So you never know who's gonna be in the studio. Like at any moment you gotta just be ready for whatever.
Wow, bro. Do you remember? Was it? Is it a record that we all know? By any chance?
Oh
The
no,
Jeezy
no,
joint?
I don't think it ever even dropped. To be honest, honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. But that would have been dope. That would have been dope. But those moments of you getting a big artist, man, like, you know, what did that do for you? Like when you first had your first, like, you've had experienced artists, but when it comes to a famous artist that's very particular, you know what I'm saying? That's like, yo, if this ain't right, get the hell out of here. Bring me somebody else. Like, did it help with your confidence? Or was it able, you know, you know what I'm saying?
Man, this is gonna sound cocky, but I never had that experience of being, you know, kicked out of a studio because of, you
That's
know,
great.
like not being, you know, able to do the session. You know, I just always been nice.
That's not cocky. That's not cocky. That's you. You know what I'm saying? That's your truth. You know what I'm saying? Like you did that. You put your mindset and your hard work into the engineering, man, to make sure that these tracks are mixed well.
Yeah,
properly.
but one thing I will say is, it is important because I didn't realize that I was necessarily good. I knew I was good, but I didn't know if I was like good enough to like work with certain artists.
Yeah.
Until like you get that feedback from like an artist that you're like, oh damn, this person said this about me.
Who was that that did
I mean,
that?
so many
The first
artists.
one. Give me one. Give me one
guess,
that
you
really
know
made you
what?
feel like, you know what?
This is not like a huge name, but like there's this band called Morgan Heritage. Pizza, the lead singer, rest in peace. He just passed away recently.
Wow. Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
He is like a legend. Like, they won a Grammy literally the year before I got to the studio. So they had just won a Grammy the year before. Wow. So I was working on them on their follow-up project to that.
Wow.
And for them to be like this, a Jamaican band, like, and then Circle House is actually owned by Inner Circle. They're the band that did Bad Boys.
Oh shit.
So it's like, you know, it's a big thing when you work with like another like legendary reggae group.
Right.
So they put a lot of pressure, like, yo, we're putting you in with Morgan Heritage. Don't fuck up. And it went amazing. Like, I was on that project for like a month. It was like the first time that I worked like for and like they book you straight. Like, so it was the first time I was booked for like 45 days straight, like at the studio.
Yeah.
And I was basically with them through their whole finalization of their album. And there was that time where I realized, damn, like, you know, this is not an easy session. Like, like this is, I know like a lot of people even here probably wouldn't even be able to handle this session. And I'm not talking about the people I named. I'm talking about other people who are interning or assisting, like knowing that and getting that feedback from them, and basically like being able to build a relationship during that time. It was dope. And that's when I kind of like started like finding that confidence and like having more swag as an engineer. Just knowing like the artist is gonna fuck with me.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And
you're Latino, right?
Yes, sir. Peruvian.
Wow, man. What, has there been any limitations on being Latino, being that Spanish kid in the studio working there? Like, I don't know if he gonna understand this thing about the trap or the reggae.
Not at all, bro.
Not
honestly,
at all? Cool.
Honestly, when it comes to reggae music, the only thing that could be like a barrier is your music theory. Because sometimes motherfuckers be talking in music theory. Like, yo, bring me back to the A chord, man. And if you don't know what the A chord sounds like, like I know, like, do you want 2 bars back or like 1 bar? Like, but sometimes you just gotta get lucky in those situations. And I always got lucky, bro. I don't know why God shine His light on me, but every time I was like one of those sessions, I would just, all right, boom, hit the space bar, and shit would just be right on point.
You got that in you, dog. You got that in you, man.
I guess so, man.
I mean, I'll be 100%, bro. I don't know how to play music. People ask me, you know how to play instruments? I don't know how to play no instruments. I've always wanted to. I've always wanted to play a piano. But I thank the Lord for at least knowing the fact that I've always wanted to play instruments so badly that I kind of like trained my ear to play what I want to hear. You know what I'm saying? And I'm grateful for that.
I know a lot of great producers are like that. Like that's just like not everybody has the music theory background, and sometimes that's like a benefit because they're not withholding to any rules.
Yeah. In another podcast, I had said to someone about the real essence of being a genius is creativity, and it's not knowledge. Because when you have knowledge, you're confined to what you know. Creativity will have you push for a different. Creativity will have you push limits. You know what I'm saying? There is no limits with creativity.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? So it's funny you say that shit. So that's really cool, man. That's really cool. Brother, I mean, so you got these records under your belt. You got gold, platinum. You know, one can only dream of being a part of stuff like this, man. But you stay so down to earth, bro. Where does that come from?
I mean, there's no reason to have a big head about it, in my opinion.
Respect.
It is what it is, man. That's just my job.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But
Yes, sir.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You know, just keep saying nice things. I like hearing it. But
yeah.
But at the end of the day, you know, I'm surrounded by people who look at my accolades from like a bird's eye view all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly being humbled by even greater people. So that's why I guess, like, and I'm happy for other people when they reach their first accomplishments. Like, one of my favorite things is putting producers on, putting engineers on, watching them grow with like a client that I put them on with, or a situation, and seeing them run with it. Because to me, it's like planting a seed.
Yeah.
Because you never know what's gonna happen in 10 years. You know, they might be in a crazy position and then reach back out to me, you know, stuff like that. And in this industry where there's like so many, I mean, let's be real, it's a lot of snakes.
Yes.
Having those long-lasting relationships with people you actually fuck with is super important.
Yeah. In my last interview, I met this A&R executive out in the streets of Miami, and we was at a Dominican club, and the music was just blasting. And I had recognized him from years ago when I used to work as a street team for the radio station. He always used to come in with big artists. And when I saw him in there, I was like, yo, what's up, bro? What's going on? And we started chit-chatting, and he was like, you know me? I was like, yeah, I remember you, bro. Like, he's like, what? And even in the club, he was just like, yo, like, when he texted me afterwards, and when in the club, he was like, yo, don't change, bro. Don't change. Keep being who you are, because this industry is fake as shit. And I felt that shit, and I told him, I said, bro, I'm never gonna forget those words, bro. That's if you give me something useful for motivation or my mindset, it sticks just like that, bro. It's like you just pin that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? It's pinned right here, bro.
Yep.
What was a moment in your career where, I guess you would say you had a down moment, where you're just like, yo, can I really do this shit? Or, man, I got this going on, but this is kind of affecting me. Like, can I continue doing this? Have you ever had a moment like that?
Man, all the time, brother. All the time. There's so many ups and downs in this industry. Like, I mean, damn.
Just one in particular, or the most recent one, or one of the first ones.
I mean, every time in this industry, sometimes just by the nature of it, sometimes when you like choose to grow, people will take that as you not wanting to fuck with them, and they'll stop fucking with you. And with my situation, while I was at Circle House, this was the studio I started with. You know, I started working with the City Girls.
Oh,
when
true.
when they were no one. When they had one song out.
Wow.
So I basically became their engineer, and I was working with them so much that it got to the point where there would be conflicts. You know, the studio would try to book me for something else, but then I'm already in the studio with them. You know, sometimes the studio would be full, and then they'll have to book at another spot. You know, the studio wouldn't like that. You know, so eventually I had to choose to feel like, oh, I gotta see where this goes. You know, they were a bubbling artist. First time, like, you know, and then at the same time, I was also working with this artist called YNW Melly.
Of course.
So, and they had the same kind of management. So it's basically like this management team is putting me on with a lot of artists that are popping. So I'm like, man, I have to go with this and see where it takes me. But
You're following your heart.
yeah, basically that, and also follow the money,
Yeah.
But having that basically cut me off from Circle House was difficult.
Yeah.
Because I had so many great memories at Circle House, as far as like the sessions that I've done there, that I'm proud to have done there, and feeling that I like basically started from nothing.
Yeah.
It's kind of tough that like I feel like it's just not like I kind of have an issue with like the somebody there that is, we're not on like terms that like I would love to be able to just pull up, but I just don't feel like I'm on that terms with the management there.
I get it.
That's the only thing.
I get it, brother. I completely understand, brother. There's moments, man, when we decide that, when we make that decision, we're like, look, I want to elevate. I think it's time for me to do that. I think it's time for me to branch out. And sometimes the people who give you that shot, they don't, they feel like you might need their assistance. They feel like your wings aren't fully there yet, but sometimes you need to jump off that cliff, man, in order for them wings to fly. You know what I'm saying? In order for them to open up, and it looks like your wings grew, brother. Look like they just popped open, man, at that right time when you jumped off the cliff, Man, that's amazing, brother. It's amazing to hear that, man. Brother, so what's next? What's next for Sal, man? Like, what's next in your mindset, for your career? Where do you see yourself going from here, man?
I mean, I'm still recording artists. I'm still love being in the studio with artists, new up and coming artists. I'm still mixing a lot, but I want to basically look more into, developing a talent from scratch, putting out an artist, or maybe even like helping
executive producing,
executive produce, like or do more placing stuff, using like connections that I have.
Yeah.
Maybe like beats for producers,
yes,
songs from songwriters,
yes,
whatever like connections I could make. Just because that to me is like, engineering is like to me is like a young man's game.
I hear
you. These artists they get younger, and as you get older, just like there's like a difference, like a culture difference.
I hear.
And like when I was first starting off, I did not feel it, but now, like when I'm in these studios sometimes with these 16-year-old artists, I feel it more and more, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
I dig.
Which is cool. I mean, I'm chilling, but I know that at a certain point it's gonna be like, you know what, get me the fuck out of here.
I dig it, man. Times change, man, and but the good thing is that you keep your ear to the streets, you keep your ear to what's going on. I dig that. I definitely dig that, man. My nephews, they show me music that kids listen to nowadays, and I'm like, and I double look at my nephews like, bruh, you sure you like this? I'm like, yo, what? But as a music producer, I have to understand why they like it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm always trying to listen to different stuff. Like, okay, if this is what you like, why do you like this, Bobby? What makes it sound so dope for you? Okay, the beats, the way they rap. Okay, so I get it. I get it when you say that, man. I definitely get it. And it seems like an easy transition for you too. You know what I'm saying? Just to go from the engineering to the executive A&R level. You know what I mean? You recognize talent already. You got that ear for it. You know what I mean? So that's super, super dope, man. Brother, I don't want to take too much time from you. I know you got sessions lined up. Man, could you leave the audience with, I guess, an insightful gem, man, like some advice, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want you to think too much of it. I want you to hit it with the first thing on top of your brain. just like what advice could you give a young up and coming engineer trying to get in the game?
One time I was assisting DJ Khaled when I was first started assisting.
Whoa.
And they were working on, I think it was Holy Key or
Whoa.
Grateful, one of those two albums.
Okay.
And my boy A.O. Juan, engineer, Khaled's engineer.
Yes, I'm familiar.
This was, I guess, when he was first working with Khaled.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know what happened, but there was like an issue, and I was just in the room when Khaled got upset with him about something.
Right.
And it's kind of as an assistant, I kind of I'm not trying to make any situation worse.
Right.
Trying to make it as easy as possible.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just there quiet.
Right.
But when things calmed down, everything got fixed. Everybody stepped away, and I had a moment to talk with Juan. He told me, like, listen, man, any situation like that, you could easily get upset and get yourself out of a great situation. But don't play yourself. Don't let your pride get in the way of your success. And you can see what has happened with Juan since. A.O. Juan, shout out to A.O. Juan.
Oh yeah,
Legend.
shout out to A.O. Juan. Wow, brother. Wow, I appreciate that insight right there. I know that not even just engineers, artists, producers, A&Rs that's coming up will take that advice right there and implement it. You know what I'm saying? You talking about being in the studio with such people from that stature, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's a whole different level right there. And if you can't compose yourself, you just played yourself. You know what I'm saying? So that's really, really dope, man. So I just want to conclude, man. I just want to conclude El Feeling Podcast. Tú me entiendes? The Feeling Podcast. El Feeling could be a lot of things, but it's the consentimiento. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate you, big bro.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, gang.
Bless you. We out.
Shit.